Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, December 28th. I am here to do the year in review tag from last year that the community kind of created, but with the help of Jessie Marie, she put it all together and put it out there. So I plan on doing that first and then going over all of my finishes for 2017, at least all the ones I have available to show. There are a couple that I can't, and I will explain those when I get there. I decided to do the tag first, just because it made sense to me. Okay, so I'm going to just dive on it because it's a pretty long tag. It's 48 questions, and some of these I don't even know if I can answer, but we'll do our best. The first section is your favorites and least favorites. So number one is whips. Currently, my favorite work in progress is my Quotes to Live by Stitchrobia. I can't completely explain it, but I love working on this so incredibly much. It is my favorite whip right now that I'm working on. I have a few that came in close seconds, but that one was definitely very easily my favorite. My least favorite is simply because I didn't realize the degree of difficulty going into it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it's stitching up. It's just I'm finding it very difficult, and therefore I don't always want to work on it. And that is my Easter tree. Because it's so much confetti. I started in the middle, so I'm half the time I don't know where I'm going with all the threads and everything. I think it goes this direction. Yeah, that's why that's up there. So I think if I could focus solely on it, it would be a lot easier, but because I rotate it so often and so quickly, and then when I get back to it, I'm like, okay, where was my brain at? What was I doing when I started working on that, or when I was working on that last time? So, by the way, I know I don't look my best. My hair is all over the place. I just kind of threw it back. But year in review, when I first started doing videos back in March or April sometime, I didn't have hair. I had dang near shaved it all off. And so to be able to put it in a ponytail for the last video of the year, I think is pretty significant, pretty interesting. So I just had it, look, just came off of the Easter tree. I was just stuck to it. Okay, moving on. My favorite finish is, and this is part of the reason I saved the finishes for last year. Gonna re-see some of these, but since it asked questions about them, I don't know. That's it. My favorite finish was my, did I just throw? Okay. Lakeside Needlecraft Heaven and Earth Design. Wow, how wrong was that? My Lakeside Needlecraft and Doreen Jones Fantasy Stitch Along. And sorry, there's a lot of glare there, but oh, that's not too bad right there. So that was my favorite finish of the year. And it was my first ever stitch along. Sorry, every time I hit that table. It's my first ever stitch along, so I think that kind of contributes to it. And I enjoyed working on it. I was so excited when I got that last stitch in. And I stayed caught up with it the entire time. So that was really cool too. I didn't do that with any of my other stitch alongs from last year. And that one started in 2016. I think the first block was August. Yeah, August. My birthday was the first month, so that probably contributed something too. My least favorite finish, and I really need to get my whips out of the way so I can bring my finishes back out. And this one is simply because at some point I messed up. And I decided I'm just going to roll with it and kind of fix around it. And then it just made it such a pain to work on every single time I went to work on it. So I was glad when it was finished, but I was mad at it at the same time. And that's my little goal work. I need to fully finish these and get these sent off. That was supposed to happen before Christmas, but it didn't. My next, okay, so that's favorite and least favorite finishes. My favorite FFO. Now, I have to show you this on my phone, so I hope I can manage to do that because I've already sent it off. And it was my cat trio that I worked on this year. Oh, wow, that is coming through interesting. Anyway, but you can see it. And I finished it into a pillow. And this is the fabric that's on the back of the pillow. It was so clean and so, that wasn't what I was looking for. It was so clean and so nice looking. The pillow really went together well. So, and she was very excited to receive it. So that was my favorite FFO of this year. My least favorite FFO is this. I was in such a hurry to get it up on the wall that I really didn't take the time it needed to get it, even. Look, there's some more on this side than this side. This has only recently happened. It's slipping in the frame. But I can go back. I mean, it's just kind of tacked on there with double-sided tape. So I can go back and do it better later. So that was my least favorite fully finished object of this year. Number 4, new starts. My favorite new start, and most everything that I have right now is a new start, but was a new start this year. But I think the one I really enjoyed getting started on is Flosstube by Nora Corbett. So it's just, I've never worked on this high of a count before. So that was something new and interesting. And the way she's looking on it, she's my favorite. New start, 2017. My least favorite new start, because of how it started, not because of the project itself, and I'm shaking the table like crazy tonight, is my autumn wreath. And that's only because it was my very first project on linen, and it took me a while to get used to it, and I was getting very frustrated, and I wanted so badly to not work on this for a while, that I found the new start very frustrating. But now that it's got several stitches in it, I don't even notice that it's linen unless I hit a slub, but that doesn't happen that often. So that one was a difficult new start for me. Number 5, favorite new tool or least favorite new tool. I really like my lap stand. And I also have some haul this video, just so you know. I really like my lap stand. I really like having an ot light because that was new this year. Those are probably my favorite. I don't know that I have a least favorite tool. Maybe that little star detailer that you use, only because I don't ever use it. I bought it, but I don't use it like I thought I would. But my method of stitching changed, throughout the year, because only in the last couple years have I gotten heavy enough into counted cross stitch to where I'm learning and changing, and I haven't gotten set in any ways or anything. So I think at the time it was really handy, but now I just don't need it. Number 6, favorite and least favorite techniques. My favorite technique that I learned this year was I learned from Jessie Marie, and that was the diagonal way of working a heaven and earth design. Instead of going all the way across, I did this square and this one, and then I came down diagonally, and as you can see, it works all the way across like that. Diagonal squares, not actual diagonals. I saw somebody do that the other day. Really neat, but not for me. It's Needlebug. She does that. So I really feel like this technique changed the world for me when it came to Heaven and Earth Designs. So it's my favorite of the year. My least favorite. How do you have a least favorite when it comes to techniques? I guess my original way of parking, which is not even a technique I use anymore because I do the diagonal, but the process of learning to park and the way I was doing it, it just wasn't working for me. Also, 2/1 on that count fabric, that 25 count. No. Number 7, favorite and least favorite material. You know, I'm not sure what they meant by that, but I assumed it was fabric. So my new favorite is Jobelan. I still get a lot of Lugana. I really like Lugana, but the 2 pieces of Jobelan I have, I'm so in love with that I really think I need to make the switch and just start ordering Jobelan because I love it. And I have learned throughout this year that I cannot stand Aida anymore. I'll still work on it, but I don't like it. Not anymore. Not anymore. And that reminds me of the stitching retreat in Austin, the Flosstube retreat, where I met Regina. She is one of the, she's the Sweary Stitcher on YouTube, and which she wasn't a Flosstuber at that time, and she was just discovering fabrics other than Aida. And we were going through the pile of fabrics that Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics brought, and she would just feel and go, ugh, Aida, ugh, Aida. Just every time she feel it, she's like, oh, I just don't like it anymore. So that was really funny. Number 8, pattern release. Again, kind of new to everything, so I wasn't keeping up with things that were just coming out outside of stitch alongs. So my favorite this year would probably be the Birthstone Dragons by Ingleside Imaginarium, which I have here somewhere. So, you know, it's a mystery stitch along. You get the new piece each month and you're really surprised and it's really neat. And I was absolutely in love with them. So I looked forward to this pattern every single month. I look forward to each of the stitch alongs, but this one just really kind of took the cake for me. My least favorite, I don't think I have one. Nope, I don't have one. Okay, the next section is how many. And this was something I was going to go, like, I didn't realize about this tag until the last couple of videos have come out. Michelle Garrett and Ginger Gerald Stitcher did theirs together as kind of like a conversation, which was amazing to watch. I'm actually not finished with it quite yet. But, so there's that one you may want to check out. And I believe Jessie Marie has gone ahead and done hers. If she has, I've watched it. But I've watched so much Flosstube in the last 2 weeks that, man, I can't remember my hand from my face. Anyways, so number 9, how many whips at the start of 2017? This one was a little difficult for me because I didn't have a system of tracking until like April. So, or May, it may have even been May. It may have started with Stitch Mania that I started finding a way to keep track. I'd started out the year with kind of a tracker, but it wasn't good enough to where I can definitely tell you this is how many I had. But my roundabout guesstimated number is 19 that I had at the beginning of the year. Because last year I discovered whip rotation, multiple whips. Before, I had just been working solely on a Heaven and Earth design, and it was driving me bonkers, and I went months without stitching because I would get tired of it. And so, excuse me, I discovered having multiple whips, and Then I joined a couple events where it was all about getting your new starts. This was pre-Stitch Mania, so this was in 2016. But Cross Stitch It's Fun had the Olympics? I'm pretty sure it's the Summer Olympics, where they had so many new starts, and there was something else I joined, I think with Cross Stitch and Discuss, where it was like 7 whips in 7 days. So I built my number up. And I got to 19. And then, so that's how many I think I started with. There may have been 1 or 2 more, but that's a pretty cool, close number. Whips at the end of 2017 is 17. I thought that was pretty impressive. And no, I didn't just finish 2 whips all year. As you all know, that's just, no. But yeah, I sat down, I currently have 17. Now, as I've discussed before, the avid animals, I'm counting each one as a separate whip. And if I haven't put stitches in for that animal, I didn't count it as a whip. So I counted it as kitted and ready for next year. So that's that. Question number 11, starts during the year. This one again was a little difficult because I didn't have a good method of tracking that until April, May sometime. But I did the best I could, and it looks like I had 26 starts this year. I know several of those were in Stitch Mania. I think I started 13 or 14. Hold on, let me check. You don't mind waiting a moment, do you? Because I know I started tracking really well at Stitch Mania. That was my first, I think that was the first time I did this. So I started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I started 15 at Stitch Mania. And then I've had several starts since then. So, and some before then that I figured out I had. So 26 new starts in 2017. Question number 12, finishes during the year. My finish count officially for 2017 is 26. I'm sorry. I thought that was amazing that I had finished exactly the same amount that I've started. Officially finished, okay? But you gotta wonder, okay, so I started the year at 19, added 26, subtracted 26, and now have 17? What? Wait for the next question. Or 2 questions. Wait for 2 more questions. Question number 13, fully finished objects. Of the 26 finishes I had for this year, and maybe including a couple from last year, I'm not quite sure. But I know for sure I had 10 fully finished objects. Most of them were ornaments, which you'll see here in a bit. But 10. Number 14. Well, number 14 is unfinished objects that were temporarily unfinished. Currently I have 0 of those. Number 15. Unfinished objects that are permanently UFO'd. I have 2. That's where we get the difference of starting the year at 19, adding 26, subtracting 26, ending at 17 was because I have 2 UFOs. One of them was a Paula Vaughn design, one of the quilts, and I restarted it 3 times. It's still just, I could not seem to get it, excuse me, I could not seem to get past very far. I kept miscounting, my stitches weren't lining up, I was having all kinds of issues. So I said, nope, I'm not even gonna try anymore, I'm done. And then the other was a kit I had bought from Walmart, and all the colors in it were so similar, and they weren't separated when I got them, so then I had to separate them, and I wasn't sure I had separated them correctly because the colors were so close together. I'm done. It was not worth the time and the headache. I have too many things I want to work on. I'm not going to keep something I don't really, that frustrates me. Stresses me out. We should not be stressing out. Stitching is relaxing. So, number 16, full coverage pages complete. I did finish one full coverage page on my Heaven and Earth design this year. So if I get to count that as a finish, then I'm up to 27. But I didn't count it. So, first and last, number 17. First start of the year was... First start of the year. Where'd I put these? I have a mess here, people. Y'all don't even understand. And my voice is giving out on me. Was Imagine. These are Design Works, I believe. Is who they were kits. I did several of them. This was my first start of the new year, and it did get finished at some point over the year. So, and it's hanging in my daughter's room. I made her go and get it for this video. And then my last start of the year was Fancy Outhouse Sal, or Fancy Garden Shed by Michael Powell. But we changed that when we got with Bendy Stitchy and Mitch Stitch, and it's gonna be a fancy outhouse once I finish it. So that was my last start of the new year. I'm getting everything all confused, man. I'm a mess. Such a mess. Y'all don't even know. Okay, first finish of 2017 was a pattern called I Fish. It was, let's see, I don't think I have a picture of it. Oh, I do. I do, but I don't have a picture of my stitching of it, and I'll get to that in just a second. I gotta go into my Xstitch app. Because I started out the year trying to use the Xstitch app, and then, yeah, I didn't. So, can you see that? I fish, therefore I am. It's got a big salmon on it. Anyway, I stitched that. It was my first start of the year. I started. You know what? I'm lying. Oh my goodness! We'll get back to that. My first start of the year was Birthstone Dragons. I started on January 1st. So you've seen that. So that was my first. Oh no, I'm talking about finishes. Huh. Anyway, now that I've thoroughly confused myself, my first finish of the year was I Fish. I finished it on January 24th because I had started it in July with that 7 whips and 7 starts in 7 days. So, and now I've got my lighting all messed up again. I finished it for my father-in-law, and I framed it and everything, and it took me months to get it to him. And I got it to him, and he put it up on the wall, and a couple months later, his trailer burned down. So it's gone. And I never really took a good picture, like finished stitching it picture. Well, I mean, I probably did and posted it in like a Facebook group, but I don't have the picture anymore. So that was my first finish. My last finish of 2017 is Gigi Giraffe, which is the Advent animal. I started and finished her in one day. I was on it. And she's so cute. My daughter's going to love her because she loves giraffes. So I thought she was adorable. So that was my last finish for 2017. Okay, now we're in a regrets section. And I need a disclaimer here. I regret nothing. Okay? We all do things and make choices that affect our lives, and we are the people we are today through our choices. So I regret nothing. But that being said, I'll still answer the questions. Number 19, is there a purchase that you regret? Nope. I did not buy anything. The only thing that would come kind of close is probably my scroll frame. And that's only because I'm just really having a hard time actually using it. And that's a personal thing. That's not, I mean, I like the scroll rods just fine. I don't know. I snap it on the Q snap and go. It's just, I'm finding, I don't know. So that would be the closest thing. But it's still, at the end of the day, if I never use those scroll rods, ever, I supported an LNS. I can support another stitcher by giving them away or selling them. I was really excited to buy my first scroll rods, and I don't regret it. But we'll say for the sake of this question that I do. Number 20, starting. Go lurk. This thing was a pain in my butt. If I have to regret one, it's him. He is so dang complicated. But really, I don't, because my little brother is going to love it if I ever FFO it and send it to him. So, that's that. 21, stopping. Anything you regret stopping. Whole lot of nope on that one. Huh, Danielle? Right? No, the only two things I stopped, I did for my own mental sanity, so I'm good with that. 22, not participating. This one was actually kind of funny to me because this was the year of participating for me. Every time I turned around, I was jumping on a bandwagon. I started Flosstube this year. I started a blog this year, literally last week. I went to the Austin Flosstube retreat. I am signed up for retreats for next year. Just, if I missed out on it, it was simply a lack of knowing about it in time, because I jumped on those bandwagons. Some of the sales I would have liked to participated in and didn't get to. It was only because I couldn't afford to at the time. My financial situation has changed a lot since the beginning of the year. I pretty much couldn't spend money on stitchy stuff until this summer, or until really after the summer. And now, you know, I've got a budget for it, but so there was no non-participation from this person. Sammy participated in all, or at least to the best of my ability. Sometimes I would start participating and then not finish it because I got too much on my plate. Okay, question number 23. Sorry. Maybe it's getting a little too late. Maybe I should have waited till tomorrow to make this video. New or new to you. Tool. Like I said, maybe my stand, my outline. Really, I think that's about it when it comes to new to me tools. Technique. Again, I kind of went over this with my favorite, well, there's more. Okay. So yes, the diagonal stitching was my favorite technique. I also learned the loop method this year. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. I learned, I don't know, I haven't learned enough terminology apparently. But like, I will start my thread several spaces away and then stitch towards it. Again, learned that from Jessie. And it ties it in so that I don't have to do, like, if it's a one strand, not a loop start. So that I don't have to like tie a knot or whatever. That was a really useful technique I learned. Really, pretty much everything I've learned this year. I know that I learned a lot last year, but I feel like this year has been so much above and beyond any other year. It's insane, and it is poured gasoline to the fire of my obsession, and it's probably driving everyone around me crazy because it's all I want to do and it's all I want to talk about. So, if you want to talk, come talk to me because my family's sure tired of listening. My best friend also, not a cross stitcher. So like, she's really supportive because tonight I told her, I said, I don't feel like doing anything. There's so much around my house I need to do and I don't feel like doing any of it. She's like, say screw it and go to sleep. I said, she goes, or be lazy and stitch. I'm like, you know me so well. Again, here I am making videos, so I may not get any stitching done tonight, but yeah. Number 25, designer. Doreen Jones. I can't even tell you, I have so many patterns by her right now. And I had no idea who she was before. Well, no. Okay, scratch that one because I discovered her in 2016 when the Fantasy Stitch Along started. So they're new to me this year. Nora Corbett. I had never stitched a Nora Corbett before, and now I have to. Get to that later. Stitchrovia. Never heard of Stitchrovia before. Love her stuff. All of it. Oh, Lizzie Kate. Lizzie Kate is new to me this year, and I have been stitching every Lizzie Kate thing I possibly can. You will see that in a few minutes. Yeah. New to me. Awesome. Number 26, fabric. As I said before, Jobelin. A little new to the linen game, but it's not my forte. I will be working on linen as little as possible. I'm not closed-minded. I'm still going to work with every fabric, but again, even weaves are kind of my jam. So, thread. Nothing. I've pretty much just used DMC all year, and the Krynic, but again, I had been exposed to that before. So, that being said, I will not be saying the same statement next year because I already have plans to use fancy flosses and different stuff for next year. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Vendor. I can't really say because 1, 2, 3 Stitch and Undersea Fabrics, I knew about those before. Those are really all I've ordered online from, other than Etsy. I found a few new Etsy shops, but I've been to several LNSs this year, which I had never done before. So ABC Stitch Therapy, which is in Spring, Texas. Stitching from the Heart, I think is what it's called, is in San Antonio, Texas. I got to visit it. And then Needleworks in Copper's Cove, Texas, I've been to. And I'm going to the Stitch Niche next year. Very early next year, like next week. And I'm very excited about that. So, I want to visit every LNS I possibly can. But I have to say I'm making a pretty good dent in the Texas ones. So, luckily I have family kind of all over Texas. So, I'm going to visit my mom. Go to Stitch Niche. Go to visit my dad. Go to ABC Stitch Therapy. On the way to my dad's, because San Antonio is between here and Houston, stop by Stitchers at the Heart. Of the Heart. I'm sorry. Whichever one it is. It's some variation of that. So, number 29, terminology. FOMO. Not that I experienced a whole lot of that this year because I participated in as much as I could, but like, okay, I'm not big on samplers. You'll notice that everything of mine is probably cutesy or modern or whatever. Not big on the samplers. But watching some of these Flosstubers, I want to stitch a sampler now. Even just to be like, I did it. Which I'll go ahead and say that here because I don't know that I had a place to stick that information. I created a few bucket lists, so to speak. They're not actually bucket. Well, I almost want to think of it more of like a treasure hunt, if you want to put it that way. In that, I want to try and mark off everything on this list. This is the designer one. So some of these I have done before, but this is officially starting in 2018. Therefore, whatever I have stitched prior to 2018 does not count. But I have several of these either in my current whip list or on my kitted to start list. And so I will be making a pretty good dent in it, but there's still a lot on here that is going to be completely new to me, or that I'm going to have to go out of my way to get a pattern for. And some of those, I don't know if they have a pattern that is completely my jam, right? My thing. But they will have something that I am willing to stitch, and I am sure there is somebody out there that would like to have it stitched. Whether it's somebody in my family or whether I start sending it to viewers on Flosstube. I don't know. So, I digressed totally. Terminology, FOMO, stitch all the things. I know that's not really a terminology, but we definitely made that one a hit this year. Stitch all the things, do all the things, just go all the places, all this. Anyways, I'm losing my mind. Let's move on. Number 30, Flosstube channels. I have way too many to mention. I added so many new Flosstubers to my subscription list. Literally every time I come across somebody new, I just hit subscribe. Not everybody out there is going to be somebody I just absolutely have to watch. Everybody, I mean, that's just life. You don't love every single person you meet. You'll like them, but you may not love them. So I subscribe to every Flosstuber that I can. As I come across them, I'm not going out of my way to look for them necessarily, but you know, when one of the Flosstubers I watch on the regular gives a shout out, I'm over to that person's page and I am subscribing. So my subscription list is long, and my thing is I just watch the most recent video that they put out. And then I try and keep up from there. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But I'm subscribed. So you know that at some point I am looking at your videos. And then I have those, you know, 20 or so that I don't miss a video. And it's really a lot easier if, like, Coffee Stitcher, he posts every Sunday. I know to look for it on Sunday. And so that's easier. And Bendy Stitchy's always on Tuesdays, and that does make it a lot easier. That's not to say that I only follow people who has a certain, anyway. Again, I'm going down some rabbit holes tonight. I am sorry, but follow all the people. That is what I am doing. Following all the people. Okay. That was number 30. We have 18 more to go. Can you hang? Because we're already at 38 minutes. Okay, I gotta find them because these ones were longer and I got tired of jotting them down. Those I really jotted down because I needed to know to pull certain patterns from my files. Mix of questions. What did you learn this year? Everything? All the things? I don't know. I've learned so much I could not even begin. And I'm loving every minute of it. Moving on. 32. What did you teach someone this year? Sorry about the train. I'm teaching my daughter to stitch, which I want her to be in love with, but it just may not be her thing. She likes it, but she's easily distracted. She puts like 4 stitches in and then she's ready to go. She's done. It's on to the next thing. Other than that, I put out a Stitch With Me video a little while ago about, literally like last week, about how I started Stitch Heaven and Earth designs. I would love it if that helped teach somebody or made somebody attempt a Heaven and Earth design, because we all know they're daunting. Also, I put out a bullet journal this month. Not bullet journal. My Stitchy journal and how I set it up. And I got several comments of, you know, that's kind of what we were looking for. We're going to try it. We'll let you know. So I'm hoping I help some people there because, Lord, it's helping me majorly. So Did you become real life friends with any stitchers you only knew via social media previously? Maybe I need to read ahead on this one. Okay. Here's how I'm going to answer this question. Before I went to the Flosstube retreat, I'm really bad at commenting people on my Flosstube videos, on other people's Flosstube, on the stitchy groups. I'm bad at it. So I hadn't gone out of my way to make stitchy friends, you know, like that I talk to on the regular. It kind of just happened a couple times with some events that we were doing. But, so anyways, Stitching May was one of the first people to follow me when I started making floss tubes. And she and I got to talking here and there. And then we both found out we were going to the Flosstube retreat. So I got to meet her in real life. Some of the people that I met there that weren't floss tubers previously, we've become really good friends. Like, they're hitting me up to come visit again. So I guess yes, and I made friends, and now, like, I'm commenting more. I'm having conversations with people on Instagram more often. I am starting to kind of come out of the bubble and get to know people. And I know that in 2018, I will hopefully be making more real life friends from my social media friends. Cross my fingers. I want you to love me. 34. Are you happy with what you accomplished this year? Oh yeah. Did you hear me? I finished as much as I started. That is awesome sauce. Just saying. I'm very happy. And like I said, coming out of my bubble, meeting new people, talking to people I don't know, these were all big accomplishments for me this year. And in a much bigger way than you would ever think. You know, it's one thing to, you know, have somebody that shares your hobby, but to be a person who doesn't really have friends outside of their family and has a really hard time being social, not because I don't want to, but because I'm shy, and I don't make that initial step. So to be talking to as many people on the regular basis as I am, and to, you know, go to the Flosstube retreat and step out of my comfort zone, those were really big accomplishments for me this year. So I'm very excited about that. Similarly, what were your goals for 17? Sorry, this is tag. How do they measure up to what you accomplished? So I don't know that I had very many stitchy goals. Let me look. I did have a New Year's resolution page in here, but I don't think I really set much for myself. Nope. Nothing when it came to stitching. So really, I think my goal was just to keep up with it, because in previous years I would stop for several months and then come back to it, and I didn't do that this year, so that's good. We're good. Whatever goals I accomplished. Has your stitching style or organization changed during the year? If so, were there any changes or improvements you'd like to make? About 1,000 times I have reorganized how I'm, you know, tracking everything, how I'm, you know, keeping it organized, how I'm transporting it from one place to another. About 1,000 times. And it'll probably be, I feel like I'm winding down and I'm really starting to find what works for me, but I still have a feeling it's going to change a few more times. So I'm good. I'm good with it where it's at right now, and if I find improvements along the way, that's great. 37, did you fall victim to FOMO this year? Were there any projects that you would pass on starting if you were given the chance to go back in time and do it all over? Um, no. Um, there was nothing that I participated in with the fear of missing out that I regret doing. Nope, I don't think so. Did you participate in any sales? If so, which one was your favorite? I participated in, well, the Fantasy Stitch Along started in 2016, but continued through half of 2017. So, I mean, till July. So, I was participating in that one. I had the Birthstone Dragons. I had the Under the Sea Stitch Along. I joined the Stitcheria charity sale really late. Like, almost all the pieces were out. So, I don't really feel like I so much participated in that sale as I'm doing it now that it's done. I think, though, for 2017, I'm not going to count the fantasy one because that was technically 2016 in my brain. It's probably Birthstone Dragons. It's my favorite. And not necessarily, I mean, I'm enjoying it for myself and all that, but seeing everybody else that blinged the heck out of their stuff was so just made it that much better. I did notice some of that with the Fantasy Stitch Along, where they changed the colors or they changed the characters, and that was really cool. But the blinginess of the dragons, just insane. Awesome. So, 39. What did you learn about yourself through your stitching this year? I'm ADD. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I like to stitch for other people a lot. I have found that I'm not stitching for other people to the point where I have a deadline or I have to, or they know and they're waiting or anything like that. But there's a lot of times where I'll start something and be like, this is going to end up in the hands of my brother. I have one for my sister. I had 2 for my nephews. I have a couple of these are for my daughter. You know, I am fortunate that the people I know appreciate the result of the hard work. So I want to keep doing it for them. And now I mean, literally, I have this whole list of patterns I was going through the other day. And I was like, I'm going to stitch it all. Literally, I'm just going to go from top to bottom on this list and stitch it all. And then I'm going to put it in my bin of shame, which I don't actually have one of those because I'm not ashamed. But we're going to call it that because that's what it's called. I'm going to put it there. And then when somebody comes along who wants it, likes it, I just feel like it's right for them, then I'm just going to pull it out and FFO it and give it to them. I just enjoyed the stitching, okay? So that's what I'm going to worry about. I'm going to worry about the stitching. What was your favorite event that you participated in this year? Jessie Marie's birthday? I don't know. There were so many events, especially in the Ultimate Cross Stitch group, that are just awesome and fun. But there was something about Jessie's birthday party that it was the icing on the cake this year. And I really, really enjoyed it. I look forward to another one next year. In fact, apparently it's become a new fad, and I should have several to participate in this year. And there were probably several this last year, but I was still kind of learning my way around groups and Flosstubes and things like that to find a way to participate. So, it may just be me opening my eyes and realizing that so many people were already doing this. 41. Were there any 2017 stitching fads that you didn't jump on the bandwagon? but jump on the bandwagon for, but you are still considering? No, because like I said, I pretty much jumped on every bandwagon I was interested in. There's a couple that I didn't jump on, but I'm not considering it. Like the, excuse me, Hawk Run Hollow. Not my thing. No interest in joining all you crazy people that are working on that piece. I mean, I think it's cute. Don't get me wrong. If you want to stitch it and send it to me, I'll hang it up on my wall. But it doesn't strike my fancy as something that I want to stitch. So I didn't jump on that bandwagon. And I didn't feel like I was missing out. So there you go. Okay. 2018. What project are you most looking forward to starting? That's hard. That one's hard because, and I was actually thinking about this the other day because since I joined Stitch from Stash in 2018, I joined it in 2017 and failed miserably when I went to the Flosstube retreat. But because I joined it this next year, I went ahead and got several things ready in December, which I'll be showing here in a little bit. Oh God, this video is going to be ridiculously long. Maybe I need to break it into another one. I might do that. So, I bought a bunch of patterns and all of them I'm really excited about. Most excited. Maybe. I guess it'd have to be Brittany's Guardians of Notre Dame. Just because I've sneak peeked it. I know what it's going to look like. I know it's going to be amazing and my husband's going to love it because he's really into that sort of thing. And her dragons turned out so well. You know her work's good. So I think that's one of the ones I'm most excited about. And it was a tough one because I have a few. What project are you most looking forward to finishing? Christmas rolls? I really think that one's going to be so pretty. And that autumn wreath, I would love to have it finished and hanging on my door by fall, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And of course my Citrovia piece because it's beautiful and uplifting and I love it. 44, do you intend to be more determined or laid back in your stitching in the coming year? Both. Ha! Did you know I could do that? And this has been kind of in the developing, and so I feel like it's going to be, I'm more determined in the fact that I'm going to be more organized and make sure that things are getting progress, which is something I've been building on the last few months. And then more relaxed though, because if at the end of the day it doesn't get finished, I'm okay with that. Or it doesn't get finished yet. Again, process, not product. What event are you most looking forward to participating in? I don't know. The Olympics one looks really fun. And it was really fun last time. So, and there's two of them because Stitch Mania is doing one and Cross Stitches Fun is doing one. So that's going to get wild and crazy and a lot of fun. Also the Year of Whips because it's my first time and it's really kind of pushing me to focus on it. So I think that. What are your stitchy resolutions for next year? I was supposed to sit down and do this before I made the Year of Whips video, but I didn't. I don't know. Be more organized, which I'm already in the process of working on. Enjoy it, not get stuck on the things I don't like, because I did do that a couple times last year. I'm not gonna let myself get stuck. If I don't like it, I'm gonna just put it away and not cry about it. move on to all these other ones that I'm absolutely in love with. I would like to try and finish more this year than I did last year. Now, the whole finishes to starts ratio, I don't really care. I don't have a bag about that. I like having several things going. I like having almost a month's worth of things to rotate around. Because if I get too low, I start to just, I don't know. I'm weird. Moving on. So though, that's my thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this and write that down as my Stitchy goals. Outside of my Stitchy bucket list, the designers, I'd like to do, and this probably won't happen this year, but in the next couple years, I'd like to do one piece for each season, which I'm already kind of working on. I've got my autumn wreath. I want one for each holiday, main holidays, I'm not trying to cover every single one, but the bigger ones. A piece for each month. I'm sure I'll find a monthly one that I like. And I feel like there's something I'm missing. Anyways, I'm calling these my treasure hunts. I'm going to try and accomplish those the best I can. So, will you be participating in these stitch-alongs? So far, I'm signed up for the Clouds Factory Legendary Creatures, ABCs, the Ingleside Imaginarium's Guardians of Notre Dame. Those are the only two I'm currently signed up for, I think. I feel like there's one I'm forgetting. No, I don't think so. So, there's one that's going to be opening in January by Doreen Jones. Cats Through Time, I think. It's Cats. It's Doreen Jones. I'm there. I think I heard of the Frosted Pumpkin one, and it sounds interesting too. So I may sign up for that one. But currently I'm signed up for 2. Let's get crazy. Do all the cells. I don't care. Maybe we'll see. I know I've been looking through Caroline Manning's ones too. From what I could tell, so far her snowmen are totally my thing, but a lot of her stitch-alongs aren't. But that may change. I'm keeping my eyes open. I also found the Caterpillar Creations or whatever. I like her stuff. I bought the Dashaway Sal after it was completely over. It's on my list of things to do this year. But anyways, again, okay. 48, last one. Are there any materials, stitches, techniques you'd like to try in the new year? Like I said, I'm going to try some new flosses, and new sparkly threads, more beading, more intense beading like I've never seen before. 2018 is the year of everything. I'm doing everything. So, okay. So that was my year in review, and it's already been an hour. So I'm going to fly through my finishes, and then I'm going to end this video and start another one that has like my stitchy haul and stuff. Maybe. I kind of feel like I wouldn't have enough. Oh no, because I also need to go through some of the new starts I want for next year. So let's do this. Let's do this. I'm apparently getting tired because I'm getting goofy. Okay. In no particular order, because again, I did not track that well this year, and at this point the table has been tossed and everything is everywhere, so I have no particular order. Imagine got finished at some point this year. If I know the date, I will tell it to you, but this one I do not. So that one is Imagine by Design Works on 14 count Ada because it's a kit and I just went with it. Yeah. as we said before, Lakeside Needlecrafts and Doreen Jones Fantasy Stitch Along on 18 count Ada. I finished this one like 2 or 3 days after the last piece was released. So in July. Golurk, the bane of my existence. He got finished this year. Then Live, Love, Laugh. It is a kit. I think it's a Jan Lynn kit. I'm not positive off the top of my head. It might. Anyway. Live, Love, Laugh. All of this stuff is going to be on my blog, which I will link below. Yes, that is something I was enabled to do by Jessie Marie and Michelle Bendy Stitchy. And I'll have it with all its a picture and all its information to the best of my ability at that point. So if you have, or you could just ask me and I'll let you know. I'm just not, I don't have all that information from me. This is Hello Kitty. So she's all ready to go. She's on 18 count Ada. White Ada. She was, I'll be real with you, she was like a Pinterest pattern, I think, because I was just trying to find something quick and easy to stitch up for my sister, and then she turned out being like 10 times bigger than I thought she was going to be. This little seahorse bookmark. I got it in a book somewhere. Anyway, technically he's fully finished. I didn't even count him. Just folded over the back, and it's not pretty, but it's a bookmark and it's for me. So Sylveon. Oh, Pokemon, that's for my daughter. She asked me today, did you ever finish my Sylveon? Yeah, like months ago, but I haven't fully finished it, so it's still sitting here. Live Simply, Love Truly, Laugh Freely. That one got finished, I want to say in October? I don't know. I have all those dates sitting there, but I've already ran y'all for an hour, so we're just going to go with it. This is Jack-O-Lantern. It was in a cross-stitching magazine on Crystal Huntress 28 Lugana from Picture This Plus. I just love this fabric. And I love that my light picks it up so y'all can see how sparkly it is. So, there's that one. Hope, another one of the design works that hasn't been framed yet. I also finished Faith, but it went into an auction at our family reunion this summer, so I don't have it with me to show you. So there's Hope. I also did Love, which is a completely different color scheme, but I also gave it to my best friend, so it's not here. Actually, that one might have been 2016, so anyway. Hunter. A cute little Pokemon. My first Lizzie Kate. Good things come to those who stitch. Which I think was just adorable. And actually, that's one of the first ones where I did some color changing and made it all my own. A little gingerbread ornament that I never fully finished, or else it could have been on my tree this year. I'm slowly working my way through that book I have somewhere to get every single, I'm going to do every ornament in the book. And like I said, then if there's somebody I'm like, ooh, they need an ornament this year, I'll slap their name on it and send it to them. Okay, I'm not done yet, but I have lost some of my finishes. Right? Where's my list? I did make a list. I told y'all about that one. It got burnt. Oh, where are my pictures? I have pictures here somewhere. Man, I've lost my mind. Ah, look, there's some more finishes. Snowflakes Are Angel Kisses, another one of the book, or Christmas ornaments from that book. It is by Ursula Michaels. I always forget to say that, but it is. I figured that out. I've showed you these before. but we've got some of my little Advent animals that got fully finished. Oops, I dropped one. Oh well. Merry Christmas. Christmas ornament that got fully finished. Not beautifully, but it didn't matter. My daughter loved it, and it did hang on our tree this year. So there's that. Here's a picture, because I made these bookmarks. I started them for Stitch Mania, got them finished in the same month, and sent them to their teachers before school let out in May. So you can kind of see both of them in this picture, because I never got a good picture of this one for whatever reason. And I really kind of like doing it on that red 14 count, Ada. I got the roll of it for $1.50 at Joann's because they were getting rid of it. It was awesome. Okay. Now let me go back down my list. Oh, a few more of the Advent animals that are finished. You've got number 20, Odette Owl. Larry the Lion. I don't know what his name is. I call him Larry. Remy Rabbit. I want to call him Horace Horse, but I think it's something else. It might be Herman, or I don't know. He's a horse with an ugly sweater on. And then, of course, Gigi Giraffe. Working on Fitz Frog. It's Fitzwilliam or Fitzgerald. I kind of rename them as I start stitching on them. I'm like, oh, you're Lola Bunny. Okay. So all the animated snowflakes. Oh, my nephews. So I started in 2016 making these ornaments for my nephews. And I finished one completely and got almost finished on the second one and then like stopped stitching. So I had to finish it for him this year. And then I had to go back and change the date on the brothers, because my nephews are brothers. And I got them both finished and sent out. But this is the one I completed this year. Because when Brayden was born, my nephew, he had these pointy little ears and this little turned up nose. So I thought he looked exactly like, you know, they make the elves look in everything you've ever seen. And so I would call him my little elfie. Like from the day he was born, he looked like an elf. So I had to stitch him an elf. And I picked this one because his little ears stick out. So it kind of reminded me of Brayden. Anyway, I showed you the cat trio that was turned into a pillowcase. Faith I couldn't show you because I had to give it away. Gingerbread, Goler, Good Things, Hunter. Okay, that's it. That's all my finishes for 2017. So going through it like that, it's hard to keep track, but there was 26 of them. So, I hope y'all all have a great stitchy week. I've got a lot going on, but I'm going to discuss it in the next video because I'm going to break it off here so I don't have a 2-hour video. Thank you all for subscribing and listening to me rant and ramble and go silly and crazy on you tonight. And I hope you all come back and see me. I didn't scare you away. Bye.